Okay, Maureen, welcome to the Brave Table, love. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to dig into today. And first and foremost, your book, I have it right here, Connected
It's
Faiths,
true.
Separate Destinies. It is so great. I've actually been gifted this to many people already. So I feel like your work has been kind of this center of even some of my solo casts. There's a solo cast that I did recently around generational trauma. And I obviously alluded to you and the work that we did together. So for the audience, I kind of want to start there. And, of course, we'll peek into your own background as well. But for the audience, let's define what generational trauma is.
It's what you pass on from generation to generation. And unfortunately, what happened during one generation was not healed, recognized.
Mm.
So, as a matter of fact, a next generation would have to take care of it in order to bring back peace, reconciliation, love, understanding, and so on.
Mm. Gosh, I love that so much. And when we're talking about, let's just kind of dive into your, origin story and
Ah,
kind of how you got into this work of healing and reconciling and helping others do the same, and your journey of even becoming an author. Congratulations. So take us through that whole cycle.
So, my story is I was born and raised in France, the accent. And long story short, my father was emotionally shut down. His life, his story was a huge secret, a huge mystery. No father, no roots, no belonging, no family. Like I could hear, like here and there, from my mom, your father did this and he did that. And his dad is in Argentina. And I was like, okay, so I think it's actually thanks to my dad that I started, like digging, like in my family story. And then I wanted to become a psychologist because I think as a daughter, I just wanted to understand my dad.
Because he just wasn't there, or because
He
he was
was
just emotionally wasn't there?
emotionally he wasn't there. He was there physically,
Mhm.
like, but emotionally wasn't there. And then for 10 years, almost 10 years, he disappeared.
Oh, wow.
He disowned us, my brother and I. So, and at this time I was 22 and I was like, okay, he just did the same thing as his dad.
Oh, wow. Oh, his dad repeated that same
Exactly.
pattern.
Exactly. That was the same pattern. My father was abandoned by his own father. So I was like, interesting, that it's just like repeating again. And so that's when I got, my master in psychology back to France. And then I decided to move to the United States. And I got introduced to Family Constellations,
Mm.
healing your family story. And of course, like the first time I did it, I did my first one, I was just amazed by what I was discovering, what I was understanding. It was not at all what I was thinking at first.
What
Long
were
story
you thinking as at first, as like this young daughter who just wanted her
exactly.
father?
I thought my dad was an asshole,
Mhm.
like, period. You know what? Like, I was like, it's your fault, like, we are the victim, you are the bad one, period. Like, that's it. 25, like, let's sum it up.
Mhm.
And then during the constellation, the one representing my dad was so weak.
Mm.
Like he felt like he had no life energy, within himself. And
Mm.
I think that's when, for the first time, I had compassion for my dad. And I
Mm.
was like, maybe it's not all about you. Maybe
Mm.
he also, has his own story and patterns. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I will never see him again, but at least I'm going to heal my relationship with him,
Wow.
importantly, to free myself and to understand also, like the woman
Of
that
course.
I'm going to become. And I just fell madly in love with Family Constellations.
Of course.
And I decided to go back to school. I went to New York to study with Susie Tucker after Mark Wallin in Miami.
Wow.
And 2014, 2014, I opened my own private practice
Mm.
because it was definitely what I wanted to do, what I believed in. It just made so much sense to me that you need to take care of your foundation, of your family story before, like building your own foundation. If at
Mm.
least you want it solid, and I wanted it solid. And then I worked, like with private clients, doing workshops, my training, and I always wanted to write my book, to
Wow.
add my insights about it.
Yeah.
And, B. Bosnak, I don't know if you know her. She's a very famous and talented yoga teacher, like badass woman.
Yes, she's amazing.
She's amazing. She introduced me to my agent, Colin. And Colin was like, okay, let's do it. I believe in you. Let's, work on a proposal and then let's just send it, like to a few publishing houses.
Amazing.
And right before COVID hit in 2020, Hay House was like, okay, welcome to the team, welcome to the family.
Oh my
You know, here.
goodness.
And here it was, let's publish your book, Connected Fates, Separate Destinies. So
And here it is. So, and
yeah.
it's just, there's so much to unpack here. There's so much juicy. And for everyone kind of listening, I mean, it's your story is very, it's so resonant to so many of us that either had wounding from one parent or another, who are either, closer to one parent or another, or maybe there was this sense of a loss in some way. And, this for you, this incredible curiosity to kind of get to the root of like the why behind it. And so, and most people don't really spend that much time to even, it's so easy to put blame on a parent, and it's so easy to place, the victimization on us and the hurt on ourselves. And I feel like, there's so many that can resonate to your story. So what is that first step in being even open to family constellation? And would you then define what family constellation is? Because it's an entire body of work that really is devoted to, healing kind of the stories of your past within your family.
Yes. So first of all, Family Constellations, the therapy, helps you to uncover and dissolve any blockages affecting your relationships, your health, your career, your relationship with money, your relationship with your children, anything. Because just keep in mind, 90% of the time, everything that you are dealing with, it starts with your family, with your background. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the Family Constellations helps you to reconnect to your story, bringing back together what was once separated through acceptance, respect, and acknowledgement. And that's why I do think and I do feel that when you want to do a constellation work, you need to accept full responsibility for your life. Because like you just said, it's so easy to blame it, like on dad, mom, brother, sister, like husband, who cares, it's not me, it's you. But through the family constellation method, you are going to see that it's about you.
It's always been about you.
Exactly, and it's your own story, your own perception, and your dad has his own story and perception and way of thinking and belonging and feeling. And so if you are not ready to really and fully be in charge of your life, being like, you know what, despite my shitty childhood, I still can be happy. I still believe, you know, like in my dreams. You're going to get so mad at family constellations work because it's just like a reality check, you know, like, here it is, buddy. You know what? Like, that's it right here in front of you. And I understand sometimes you're just like, no, you know what? No, I want to be right. So no, next therapy. But if you absolutely want to be right, I think you're going to be pretty miserable. But if you want to be happy with what you got and what you will get, I think, yes, you can definitely do the work.
Oof. Wow. I mean, it's so, yeah, it's the personal responsibility of saying yes to the work. And I feel like then, you know, it places ownership on that person, because there's no excuse anymore. We can't just say, oh, it's this person, it's this person. And, you know, a lot of times, interestingly, even failed relationships will show up through family constellations. And even, you know, just because we had a session not too long ago, and that's how I was like, kind of like introduced to your work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and all of the types of healing that I've done over the past decade or more, you know, this has come to me now. And what a beautiful time. Because also, as a psychology major and like a student of human dynamics, and just really understanding kind of the core of the why, there's going to be always, you know, that peeling away of the onion layer. And of course, you know, you help me really just understand even a lot of the losses, because in your in-depth questionnaire, I mean, let's just talk about that for a second. Why is it that there is like this, you know, 30-minute, even more, just deep dive of kind of the everything that you go into, because it's so much more than I would think people would imagine, versus going to see a coach or even, you know, a therapist.
Yeah. So the questions are deep, that's for sure. You know, like, it's intense. It's just to understand your background, because we do not think right away that a miscarriage could have so much impact on your life, or like a grandmother who died during childbirth as well, or like a secret, you know, like maybe an uncle who was in love with a man, or like a war story, or like I was born, you know, like before World War II, and I was Jewish, and then I had to become Catholic, you know, like in order to survive, you know, like all of these insignificant details that you think are actually probably the reason why you are dealing with your own struggles, you know, like with your own relationships right now. And until it has not been recognized, it will just pass on from generation to generation, because the family system is always looking for reparation. That's why we have children as well, because with a new generation, with children, we can do better. We can try to do better. And I know you are a mom and you want your kids to do better than you and your husband, you know, like at some point. And then your children, they will tell the same thing to their own children. That's how we keep growing and blossoming. But if we do not take care of the story before, where we came from, if we do not take time to accept and respect what was, then we're in a like blurry phase, you know, like where we do know it does not belong to us, but we're still struggling with it, and we don't know what to do, and we're angry and we're upset, and we try to do the work, but every time we just go back to our first place, and it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm. And you keep kind of going around in circles and circles.
You know, like a crazy rabbit. Yeah. And you're like, what's wrong with me? I hate this question, you know, like, what's wrong with me? Like
Mm.
I've been doing the work and I'm still miserable and I cannot do it. And I'm just like, did you just pay attention to your story?
Mm.
Because your story is like the oyster, with a pearl. That's exactly where you should focus on at first. Because
Mm.
that's where it all started. And then with you, like on your own, you can just do the work and end the cycle to write your own destiny.
Oof. So many gems. I feel like our listeners are going to just keep wanting to listen to your voice because not only is it so soothing, of course it's the French accent, but
The French accent.
I mean, you hear it all the time, of course. Um, well, and I also kind of want to dive deeper into that though, because like you said, and in this, really big intake form, if those of you are like very curious what it is all about, basically, Maureen during our session asked kind of, not just about family tree, but like anything any traumas that happened, to not just my parents, not just my aunts, not just my uncles, not just, and any family secrets and anything that, they were struggling with, whether it was food or money or infidelity or any sort of trauma, abandonment, and, even my grandparents too, and what generation, what time it was, an era, where were they in, parts of the world. And I think that for, it was just that perspective alone in your questionnaire was so amazing because it just gave so much perspective of, I think, what I wasn't even thinking of. So, for the audience, what advice would you give to someone, let's just say, who is struggling because they have they're not really getting along with their mom, or their father is not approving of what they're doing right now, or um or maybe they're not approving of a relationship or whatnot, or maybe it's even a person who can't even find the right person for relationship. What would you suggest?
Get my book. All of the questions are in there.
Very true.
So I would say just go back, go back to your inner child, the little girl and little boy. And I know you hear a lot, these two words, inner child. What is it? Like, what is it about?
Yeah, can we just go into that? Like, when
Yeah.
when you dive into inner child work, what are you actually talking about?
It's your past. It's a child that you used to be. And this is this little girl, a little boy. It is thanks to him or her that you are here today. I mean, I'm just, Maureen, 36 years old. I'm new in this world, like you, Nita. You know what? Today you are new. It's like we don't even have any past, like any struggles, like we're just an adult and we can do whatever we want in a way, like, but the child that felt powerless, sometimes unseen, unheard, unrecognized, misunderstood, this little girl, maybe she had no voice. Maybe her parents got no time, to explain to her, mommy is sad, don't worry. So like, no, come on, like eat your lunch, like we are late, you need to go to your horse riding, whatever. Like, so you need to go back to her or him, because that's your little girl who has the answers. That's her who has been dating toxic guys. That's him who has been self-sabotaging his career because he or she is still asking for reparation. Because I don't understand what happened to me 15 years ago. Could you please tell me? Because you are my adult self. These two voices fight, like inner fight, like, what's good for you, but you still have like, toxic guy, not the good guy.
I'm going to go for that. Yeah.
That's the little girl being like, no, go there because then I can heal. or because I'm scared of love. So why do you want to give me love? I'm scared of it.
So it's
So then,
easier to go to that toxicity because it feels familiar.
exactly.
Mm.
But you as an adult, you need to tell her, I understand. It feels safer, but it's not. Let me show you the way. Let me work with you. Let's be together. So if you are angry towards your mom, that's not you right now who is angry. It's your little boy. What happened to him? Why did you become angry? What's your story? And then you can, like uncover all of the different dynamics, situations that happen. And then you can finally speak your truth. That's when you heal.
Wow. Wow. Just even in that is so powerful, because I feel like it's the patience of really understanding what our little girl or our little boys want,
Yeah.
is just it's kind of even, remembrance and a rediscovering process every single day. And I think you do this so well, is you really allow us to just give permission to ourselves to just drop in whenever we need to. And that's, it's something I constantly remember from just our, working together. And because I know in the book you point out to a lot of exercises that are so incredible to do just by yourself on, remembering back like your childhood and some of the memories, and how were you with your mom? How were you with your dad? How was your dad as a little, boy or girl? How was your mom as a little boy or girl? What advice would you give for people to, kind of use this book as a guide to even give to their families to work kind of like together? What's some of the first steps would you suggest?
I would say to draw your family tree all together. I think it's
Mm.
a very fun activity to do, even with your children, actually.
Oh,
Because
wow.
I remember, I don't know for you, but as a child, I constantly ask questions about my grandparents and my aunt and my cousins, and children are really curious about it, because for them it is so odd that mom and dad were little at some point, really, they're not only my mom and dad, no. I know my mom, I still see her as my mom, I don't see her as a woman. I don't see her as a little girl. So I think drawing your family tree all together, asking questions to your parents, open a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, you cannot force your parents or grandparents to give you all of the details, but they're going to think about it.
Mm.
They're going to think about their parents as well. And maybe her sister who died at a very young age, or maybe about being a refugee, things like that. So it just opens, like a new dialogue. And then you can just, write down all of the information, and it gives you a sense of belonging.
Mm.
Because most of the time, all of our pains are connected with a lack of belonging.
Mm. A lack of belonging. Yeah.
Exactly, a lack of belonging. And so I think by drawing your family tree, you can see that you actually have a place. You do belong. And so feeling and being part of a community, of a bigger group, than you, I think does miracle. It does. Because finally you can see that I am part of a story. I am part of a lineage. And if I'm here today, it's because I matter. At some point, my parents believed in another life. They believed in a new generation. And maybe right now they're divorced, maybe right now I don't talk to my mom anymore, but at some point they did believe in love. And maybe I can hold on to that and work my way to finally heal.
Mm. And what have you seen is kind of examples of people healing from kind of understanding their family constellation? I mean, I know what profound healing it was, but I'm curious to see like the different realms that come to you.
What honestly, I see it right away in the eyes of my clients when they got a breakthrough, like a new insight. I don't know, most of the time it happens at first with their parents.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, I understand them. I have respect for them. I respect them. So now I can focus on me. 70% of the time, why my clients come to me, it's because of love.
It's love. Okay.
It's love.
Oh, okay.
It's love. It's love. It's love. It's love. It's all about love, like we want love. So it's either I am single or I'm miserable with my partner, or my partner cheated on me, or Marine, I cheat on my wife. Like it's all about love.
Okay.
But what you have to understand is your love life is directly connected to your parents'
Ah,
and dynamics with you.
wow.
Everything that you did not heal with your parents, you're just going to make a lovely transfer on your partner and your marriage and your relationship, and ask your partner, hey, buddy, take care of it. And then your partner is like, what?
Nope.
Nope, it's not my shit, to take care of. But that's why, like during an argument, there is maybe 10% of your partner's fault, but then there is 90% of your inner child being so upset because it just triggers him or her, like, oh, that's exactly what my dad used to do, what my mom used to do. So it's just like the level, like of the argument, like goes from 10% to 90%, and your partner is just clueless. Because it's like, what can I do for you? Like, I don't understand what you need. So that's the most remarkable healings that my clients can get, is making peace with their parents. And then they're like, oh my God, we're so much in a better place with my partner, because I finally understand that I was just projecting on him or her my resentment, whatever it is, like on him.
Right. To let your partner take care of all of the things that your unmet needs from your parent.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Wow. I feel like we can keep going and going and going in the same thread. And so how is it that people can actually work with you?
So
Because I
you
feel
mean,
like you're going to be getting a flood of emails and requests and DMs.
so thanks to COVID, but before even COVID, I used to work remotely as well, because thanks God for Zoom. So of course, like I work remotely now most of the time, but I also do workshops in New York. I will actually be at Omega Institute in Rhinebeck. Finally, they finally, signed me.
Congratulations. October?
Thank you so much, Nita. October, yes, this October, so I'm so thrilled about it, because it's been maybe 5 years, that I've been waiting for it. And then, like you can also see me in person in Miami or in New York when I'm here, but you can just DM me, like, or send me an email, like Marine Cellini. You tap Marine Cellini and you will find me right away. So yes, I'm here. And I also have my training now.
Oh, that's perfect. Tell me more. Tell us more about the training.
So the training is on Teachable.
Okay.
And it's 9 classes, unlimited, like access to all of them. So you can just take your time. And it's for your own healing, as well as if you would like to add this practice to your current practice, or if you would like to offer family constellations. And I just cover all of the different principles of family constellations. So the family foundation, inner child and parents, love, healing, trauma, career, money, everything. So it's like a therapy with me, but just on your own, like I give exercise. It's like my book live, you know
Yes.
what? Like it's
Oh, I
like
love that.
to you and guiding you and leading you. And yeah, you know what? You just take your time, because sometimes you're ready to do the work for a month and you want to pause. And I won't be here like, hey, you need to book a session now, like, no, you know what? Like you're just free, like to follow your own process.
Oh, I'm so glad you did that, because even with me, I'm like, wait, how can I get more from Maureen? So now I can get your training. This is amazing. This
Exactly.
is amazing. Well, and what I love so much about, Family Constellations, you're right. I mean, it's not just because you say majority of people come to you for repairing, their love, but it can show up in career. It can show through money, right? And it can show up through your friendships and the people that you choose to get really close to you. What are some of the other ways that, kind of the family constellations work that you do can show up in just like everyday life?
Well, it's more than a therapy, that I always say, it's a philosophy of life.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, for example, your mother, the relationship with your mom, it influences how you receive in life, your success in life, how you take your place in your environment, for example. So if you did not receive from your mom the gift of life, maybe you're going to struggle with receiving money, compliments, love. Because maybe you got a great idea as an entrepreneur, but it's still like a lack of clients and money, like, and you don't know what to do. But maybe it's just like receiving from life at first. So then you can really create this abundance.
Wow. And what would you say the relationship with dad represents?
Alors, dad, it's more about taking actions. It's more about self-confidence. It's like, I would say, how you show up, how you stand up for yourself. Woman, it's more like receiving. That's a feminine energy. We receive. So masculine energy is more like I give, and I have the right to give and share, like what I have to say. I am not shy to show up. So that's more the self-confidence here, self-esteem, self-value. We always say, that women, when they talk about their income, they're going to ask for less. While actually men, they always ask for more. That's just the masculine and feminine energy here, like, no, that's okay. Like, I'm a mom, I cannot receive that much, like, of course you can. But it's just, like the feminine energy here. So when you balance the mom and dad, the feminine and masculine, you can be an amazing entrepreneur or even employee, as well, because you won't be triggered by others.
Wow.
That's a success.
What did you say?
That's a key of being successful.
Yes, for sure. For sure. So if there was a breakdown your mother, you would probably have a hard time receiving
Big time.
money or getting your business off the ground subconsciously.
Subconsciously, of course, it's subconscious, but big time, Mira. Yeah, big time.
And then if you had a kind of a breakdown with your father, it could show up as lack of confidence.
Lack of confidence, self-sabotage, like destroying your success, or maybe having, I don't know, a bad relationship, with your manager or like with one of your clients. It's more like being angry. When you are defensive, it's a lack of confidence. So maybe your relationship with your dad, maybe your dad always criticized you. Maybe he told you that you are not enough. So, you need, like to pretend, so you may be more aggressive, like defensive. And then people are like, I don't like his energy, like I feel he's angry at me, while actually it has nothing to do with you. But that's also how you can self-sabotage yourself.
Ah, wow. I feel like we're all learning so much.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And so as we wrap up this amazing round of part one, because I feel like we have to bring you back and go deeper into your book. I have three incredible questions for you as we close
Okay.
out. And the first one is, what does it mean to be brave?
To follow your heart. Speak with
Mm,
your heart.
mm. And what is a practice or a ritual or a book that's elevating you currently?
Oh, the book, but you're gonna help me with this word because I don't think my pronunciation is gonna be good. It's the unfettered soul, with a
Yes.
horse.
Oh, yes. Untethered soul.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. Yeah, I knew this word is a new word for me, like as I am French, I love this book. It's just
How
amazing. Amazing. Chapter 1 was just like, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, so powerful.
it's powerful. It's powerful. Yeah. Is there untethered in French? Is there a French equivalent of that word?
Not really, actually. You know what? Like, it's not like,
Because tethered would be like attached, but I wouldn't, yeah. How would you say?
no, in French right now, like, besides the word attaché, which is attached, like, but
Mhm.
I think the meaning is much more spiritual,
Of
like
course.
it's really meaningful. This word in English, it's like surrender. We don't have the same word in French. And it's a word
Ah.
that I love in English. Surrendering. I love it.
No, it's
But
that book is probably one of my very all-time classics into spirituality for sure.
amazing, amazing. And dancing. Right now, I've been dancing a lot, like with my feminine, with my body. I really like it. So I also
Oh
like
my
doing
gosh. What kind of dancing are you doing?
anything, like salsa, like on deep house, just moving my body, like just like enjoying being a woman, like and loving myself and respecting myself and my body. Like I feel it's very empowering for a woman actually to have this kind of relationship with herself.
Oh yes, for sure. For sure. The whole feminine embodiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, definitely through dance for sure. And well, what one or two words describes this season of life?
2 words: transition and love.
I love that. I love that. Amazing. Okay, Maureen, I know that you are giving your chapter 5 away for free. You guys, her book is out. It is amazing. It has literally helped heal a lot of my relationships for sure. So tell us where we can get a free chapter of your book.
It's on my website, marineselini.com. You will see book, you click on book, and you will get your chapter 5. And chapter 5, it's all about love. So you see, here, it's how to take care of your love life.
That's
So
perfect. That's perfect on every level. And if we want to DM you to book a session, how do we do that?
Instagram, Facebook, Marine Selini, and just DM me.
Okay, so there's no dots or anything because we'll put
No,
it in the show notes.
Marine Selini. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I can just bask in your energy, Maureen. This is so amazing. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We're so grateful. We'll put everything in the show notes. Okay, fam. Connected Fates, Separate Destinies is out, and go ahead and grab your copy. I promise you it is going to change your life. Learn all about family constellations. Maureen, what a pleasure as always, my love.
Thank you so much.
Until next time on the Brave Table. See you next time at the Brave Table.